Hi, here's Cross25. I haven't made any guides for a long time, so I thought gonna start with this game for a little bit. Reason being, I've seen a lot of other guides and they have either misinformation or a lack of information. Also, they do not provide explanations for why something might be better than something else. So this is gonna be a more in-depth guide. It's not going to be much number crunching. I do have a statue calculator for my own purposes, which I will be providing in the Google Docs later on, but it's more about testing. I tried a lot of stuff. I calculated, yes, the stats, the damage, just to be able to prove it with my tests, but it's not going to be like every single stat being calculated till the very end. But yeah, I have no pop filter, I'm German, so it's not my native language. Sorry if there's anything you do not understand because of the way I'm talking. Please write in the comments and I'm glad to respond within a day or two. So yeah, just providing you with my stats right now, so you can compare with yourself where you are, where I am. I have 5.5 thousand million final HP, 148 million final attack, and 33,260 final defense. I'm currently on Infinity 7, so with those stats you should be able to reach this stage. I could be pushing a bit further, most likely Infinity 7, 6.1, 6.5, something like that. But yeah, we'll be providing in the Google Docs not just my statue calculator, but also different builds that I've used for the bosses. So like for the slime boss, for the snake boss, for the crocodile, for the robot, all of those bosses. I have like 1 or 2 builds that I've put into a spreadsheet as well, that I used along the way. So it's not just endgame builds, it's not just pink skills, pink pals, so you can just go with it. If you're stuck somewhere, you can check that spreadsheet and maybe it helps you, maybe it doesn't. It depends. You also have to check if you're lacking defense, if you're lacking HP, if you're lacking attack. So those builds are not guaranteed. This build is the best for it. Because in this game it's all about thresholds. It's all about what you're lacking, what you're currently having, what are your resources, what's the best build for you currently. It changes a lot. As for me, I'm using like 2 or 3 different builds because I'm not pushing that much anymore. I could be using a bit more differences. I could play around with the skill delays a bit more, but yeah, I'm, as I said, not pushing much anymore. For me, there's no reason to, because you're only getting lamps, and my items are fairly okay by now. So I'm just waiting for 28 for the diamond gear, then I can push again. What's more important is why I'm playing crossbow is I want to reach the end levels for the dungeons, which is 120 for Molten Ruins, the Lamp Thief, and Chrono Tower. From what I heard, I'm only at 112, so I cannot verify it. Flame Temple being level 20, and Dark Trials, I'm currently stuck on 6.1, but yeah, I'm pretty sure once I reach 36 million, I'm gonna be able to complete 6.5 as well. So yeah, those are my goals that I want to reach with this class. It's a PvE class, it's not a PvP class. I will be going into PvP a little bit, not too much, because yeah, yet again, swap to warrior if you want to play PvP, or even Shadow Hunter, so you have a better chance against warriors. But yeah, this is plain crossbow guy. Let's go to the skills. There's been some misinformation here about Windbone Arrow, about 100 slashes, about Worldly Snare. Some people still use in the high-end game. Here are some reasonings, how they work and why I'm choosing what I'm currently having. So, how 100 slashes is being calculated. The damage boost is 0.5% attack bonus based on your current HP. The higher your HP, the higher the bonus. How you can calculate it is you go with your final HP, considering you will cast the skill at the beginning of the fight while you're at 100%. You go to your final HP, you multiply it by 0.005, and then you can divide it by your final attack, and then you will have a percentage of how much more attack you're gaining by 100 slashes. That's how you calculate it. Also, you're getting the basic attack damage resistance. For PvE, it's okay, but it's a glasscannon build that I'm playing, so it's not that important for me. So why I'm not using this one over Tornado? The reason being, the clone snapshots your current attack when you cast it. Tornado is an immediate cast. It has no cast time, so the buff is being there within the same second you cast it. So all you need to do is you go to your skill delays and you put your clone to 0.5 seconds for it to gain the 15% attack boost on the Tornado. 100 slashes, the cast time is a bit longer. It takes around 1 second, 1.5 seconds for you to actually have this buff. Also, as it takes current HP, it's lower for the clone because the clone only is at 30% HP, meaning even if you calculate a 20% attack boost on 100 slashes for yourself, it's not gonna be 20% for your clone. That's why 15% attack Tornado is just better overall. Only reason why I would take 100 slashes is for PvP, or if you need like this tiny little bit more defense to survive something. Then again, you need to delay the clone a bit further as well. Otherwise, it's not going to get this buff, and you will lag out on damage. Next is Windborne Arrow. Windborne Arrow. It says it applies an extra 100% damage for every non-skill damage. It was bugged before. It only provided you with a 10% basic attack modifier. Now it's fixed, but it's still garbage because it's only providing you with a 100% basic attack modifier and 100% basic 100% combo modifier. So what does it do in terms of damage? How's the damage calculated? In PvE, there's no defense. They have no basic attack res. Most of the stuff has no basic attack res. In Dark Trails, there are bosses that do have basic attack res, but as it's only one tiny bit of the game, I will not go into the details for that. What PvE has is crit resistance. So how is it calculated? Final attack times the basic attack multiplier. So in my case, it would be 148.7 multiplied by 24.1766. And that's it. That's my auto attack damage. For combo multiplier, that's the same. If your combo or your auto attack would be critting, you would calculate the 148.7 times 24 times 19.92 for my crit damage percentage, divided by the crit resistance. For example, Infinity 6 had 190%. The Lamp Thief, which is my testing target because it's like a constant, has basically 200% crit res. There's some running errors, so it could be 199.96 or something, but I'm very sure it's basically around 200%. So it's a good target to test your damage for. That's why 100%, it's only one more. So instead of times 24, I would be calculating 148.7 times 25. It's not a lot. It's very, very little. The 15% attack damage would be way better. Or the best damage skill that this game provides is Smoke Bomb, because it's a 30% debuff on the target. It's a 30% damage increase debuff on the target. So, Worldly Snare. Worldly Snare is a good starting skill because it has a nice burst to it. It has 5,549% damage. It gives you quite a bit of damaging crit damage, which is very strong early on. But even now, let's see. I have crit rate of 67%. I'm currently with both crit pets, with Benny and with the eggplant. That's 15%. So yeah, I would be getting 180, 195% crit damage. So those 195% crit damage, I would need to be dividing that by the 2, because 200% crit resistance. So then I would only be getting 90% crit damage. 90% crit damage on 2000. It's not that good anymore. The 10% crit rate, that's actually good. But if it's worth it, it doesn't outperform anything else. So It doesn't outperform the Blade Pierce for most targets because they have higher HP targets. It does not outperform the Disarm because your clone is not going to be dying quickly with Disarm active. And it's definitely not going to outperform the 30% damage increase by Smoke Bomb. So, yeah, there's not much use later on for Worldly Snare. This one, everyone knows, scales only on your basic attack multiplier. That's why it's really, really bad. Then you have Dazzle. Dazzle has a 1.5% second stun. Can be increased by the relic to 2.25 seconds. That's actually a really good skill because compared to Disarm, it blocks skills, or rather it delays skills, because when a target is disarmed it can still cast skills. While it's stunned, it will not be casting the skills, it will be delaying the skills by 2.25 seconds or by 1.5 seconds. Also, if you do have the Fox, which you should be using, it's a 25% global damage increase. Those 25% damage go on your basic attack, they go on your combo, they go on your crit damage. Every damage you deal at the end is multiplied by 1.25 basically. That's why the Fox is like huge damage increase. So yeah, this is my main build. I have a slow build for the waves that I'm using. I'm using this skill because it has only an 8-second cooldown with 25% cooldown reduction of the slime. It's 6 seconds, so that's why you basically have it up almost the whole time. That's why I prefer it over this one, which also has 40% slow, but on an 18-second cooldown. Yes, you have a relic that can boost this one, and in some cases it's good to be using both, which I'm using, for example, here. I'm using both slows. Those can be good for like the crocodile or the robot, but in most cases it's like very, very situational. That's why, yeah, those are the skills I'm mainly using. There's not much use to anything else. My opinion, yes, you have Speed Surge. Speed Surge is a very, very good skill early on, but in the later stages, there's just no room for it anymore. I can see it being used only if you are lacking attack. So the tornado would be weaker than the attack speed. But as it's most likely, that's something I couldn't test. Attack speed testing is really, really difficult in this game because the numbers are not always all shown, and there's way too many, and then the crits are way too big. So yeah, but given, it's an assumption, given how other skills work, it's an additive bonus. So it's not going to be that great. It's not like the bird who gives you multiplicative attack speed boost. So yeah, as for the pals, I've seen a lot of people, let me switch back to my main set. I've seen a lot of people using the octopus, for example, saying it's like one of the best pals, not using the treasure dragon, not using the fox, which are way better. So here's the reason why. The octopus. I don't have it, but I tested it on someone who actually has it. So it increases the combo damage by 60%. 60% is multiplied then by the global combo damage multiplier that you get, for example, from statues or from runes or wherever you get them from. Still, compared to the banana, who gives you 100%, which also gets multiplied by the global multipliers, it's not that good anymore. And then you have every 3 combos it deals an extra 200% damage. What does that mean? The 200% extra damage it does is not on the final damage. So it's not your final attack times your combo multiplier times your crit multiplier times 2. No, it takes your basic attack modifier, takes it times 2. So 200% basic attack modifier times your final attack. So final attack times 2 is basically the damage you're getting every 3 combos. If you take it here, that's for me 280 million. if you check my numbers in the back, I'm doing 1,500 million with a normal auto attack, or 2,000 million, 2,000 million with a normal auto attack, compared to the 280 million that I would be doing with Octopus. Just not good at all anymore. Compared to the Fox, as I said, it extends the stun duration by 30%. It increases your damage by 25, flat out 25% over your total damage. That's like one of the biggest boosts. Then you have the Treasure Dragon. It increases basic attack crit damage by 50%. What does it mean? It's not, there's no stat basic attack crit damage. What it does is it gives you 50% crit damage, but not additive. The reason being is how you calculate your crit damage. Your crit damage is calculated this value, crit damage bonus, times 250%, and then plus the 250. So in my case it would be 669.96 multiplied by 2.5. I'm just gonna show it to you here, and then plus 250. That's 1,992.4, exactly like it's shown here. So if I were to take away this Treasure Dragon, just remember basically 2,000% crit damage. If I take it away, I only, wait, I didn't take it because, yeah, so. Yeah, it didn't take it because it wasn't a Treasure Dragon that I took away, it was a Fox. As I said, suck at editing, it's gonna be a one take recording. 2,000 crit damage, go down to 1,600 basically. Reason being, all the crit values that you're getting from basically everything in the game is 50% weaker if you don't have the dragon in it. That's why it's a must-have. You need the dragon. It's one of the biggest, if not the biggest, damage increase that you can have. So yeah, then the meme, yeah, don't use it. Healing, it's not healing, it's regeneration that it boosts. It's nothing. The tortoise, the turtle, it's a 30% shield. I use it for PvP, even though it's reduced by 40% in PvP. So technically, I shouldn't be using it. I will be swapping actually to this because this is a 15% HP increase due to the 15% damage resistance that you're getting. The damage resistance that it provides is global. So yeah, using the turtle in PvP is not good. You should be using the deer in PvP. Then I've seen people using the panda. HP regen increased by 40%. Again, HP regen is reduced in PvP by 30%. Also, the HP regen that it provides is 40% on the stat regeneration, which I have 0%. Other people might have some, but it's basically just from your gear, which you shouldn't have on regeneration for the crossbow anyways. Then there are people who are saying the bird is the strongest, or one of the strongest pals. I would say you can use it because it's not an additive 15% attack speed, it's a multiplied 15% attack speed. But what it does is the attack speed is calculated, the total, I can show you. So attack speed is calculated with how do I do that? 15%, 15% is what I have, and 2.8 times 1.15 times 1.15 is my final attack, 3.7. So the bird will add it to this one, 15%. So I will be having 3.2 to 2 times 1.3, so 4.18 is my attack speed. That's basically 0.5 attacks per second more. Most of the fights that I have currently are 10 to 15 seconds. In 10 seconds I will be doing 5 attacks more. Then those 5 attacks, it's not just going to be 5 auto attacks. Those 5 auto attacks are going to be calculated with my class benefits. So my class benefits being that instead of 1 auto attack, I'll be shooting 2 auto attacks. So those 5 auto attacks turn into 10 auto attacks, and then 5 out of those 10 auto attacks, is my assumption, can be a combo, and then they will shoot 2 more basic attacks. So yeah, it's not bad. It's definitely not bad, but I don't see how it would outperform 10% crit rate. I don't see how it would outperform the 10% combo with a 100% combo damage increase, which also gets increased by the global combos, or the 25% by the Fox, or it can outperform the 5% crit rate by Benny, but the Airborne is something I really need to survive just this tiny bit longer. That's also a reason why I'm not using the skill region, because my fights are so short. I'm not going to be able to get much out of this 25% cooldown reduction that it provides. Then you have the chicken. It has a 30% basic attack damage, which also gets multiplied by global basic attack damage increase. But it's only like, it can be like 50% overall, 50% out of 2000, or if you're not focusing on basic attack damage, 1500. The increase is like so slim that it's definitely not worth it. Then the cactus, some people are saying that the cactus is good. The cactus gives you 40% additive basic attack. So it's not multiplied with any global attack. And it only gives you every third basic attack 40% flat out basic attack modifier. So it's actually really not that good. Yeah, that should be covering the pulse. Then for the runes, the reason I'm not gonna be going for a combo like most people are is because I've seen the damage is higher if you have, like, your final goal is you want to reach a high crit, high basic attack, and a high combo. You don't want to have just one stat skyrocketing compared to the other two. You want to try to get those 3 as equal as possible. Yes, you do get a higher percentage on the stat use on combo than you get on crit. But I will go into that later on, into more in-depths there. So that's why. What am I using for runes? I'm going for, and I can show you here. I have the sets for basic attack. I focus basic attack because there's no other way to get global basic attack at the moment, instead of going for a global combo like other people do. And also the value that you gain from the substats for global basic attack are the same values that you can get for a global combo. So while focusing more on combo and stat use, I focus more on global basic attack here, because you cannot focus it on the stat use. Other stats you want to go for is Airborne. Airborne is basically best in slot because you can reach up to 10% is a good amount, but you can reach even 15% Airborne. What it does, it's not a stun, it's just it knocks them up for 0.5 seconds, and it triggers on your auto attacks. You do a lot of auto attacks, so you trigger it more often. Your clone also can trigger it. So yeah, it just basically perma CC if you have it to a high enough value and the enemy does not have a high enough value of ignore Airborne. Then the second stat you want to have is ignore Airborne because, well, you don't want to be the one who's CC'd all the time. that would be for to be able to PvP a little bit as well. For PvE, you don't necessarily need it. You can go for ignore stun, for example. Instead of ignore airborne, you can go for crit resistance. You can go for basic attack damage resistance. Those are good stats in general for PvP as well. You want to go for like resistances instead of just pure damage, because glass cannon, yes, but you're not gonna be able to hit at all if you're not having any crit resistance or counter resistance. I think crit resistance being one of the strongest in general, but you're gonna be able to receive it from statue if you want to go for it, or you get a lot of that from the souls. So that's why it's better to go for counter or for combo resistance on the runes. Then you have the artifacts. I'm using Eye of Raven. Personally, I think that's best in slot for any class as of now. You could be using the Candy Gatling. It will be dealing 10% of your basic attack damage multiplier. So basically, what you do on every basic attack, the white number will be additional damage dealt by this up to 5 times. So either a tenth of your damage or half of your damage will be increased. I'm not sure if it can crit. Based on my tests with the hammer I've done with some other person, it should not be able to. But I couldn't confirm it. So I have not met anyone who had the Candy Gatling gun, which I can do tests with. But I would assume it's not. That's why Eye of Raven, for me, best in slot. You can get the clone, especially for PvE. You can redo almost every fight in this game over and over again until you get the clone, or until you get the double stun, whatever you currently need for the fight. That's why Eye of Raven is the best in slot. For new people starting, you want to get the hammer because of the global basic attack damage increase. Because it's really hard to get global basic attack damage in this game later on. So, that's the mount. Then again, also, just so you see, Infinity 7 was tier 6 mount, not even having the tier 7 mount, because I needed to get the clone, so I spent a lot more gems that I needed, or should have. But yeah. As for the mount, going for Firebreaker is one of the strongest offensive mounts you can get, especially because it's one of the few mounts that you can upgrade more or less free to play, or yeah, that you're able to upgrade free to play. If you upgrade it, it turns crit rate 20% to 30%, and you can even upgrade it a bit further than that, and then it increases by 40%. Most fights start after 5 seconds in PvP, so you will already have 20% if you upgraded it to the next level, to the purple stars version of it. So yeah, this one is like one of the strongest offensive mounts that you can get. Other people have been, that I've seen, suggested going for the Koi, because, well, they go for combo damage. They see it triggers additional combo damage. Again, based on something I couldn't test, it's my assumption, every 3 combos will trigger 500% of your basic attack damage modifier. So 500, your final attack times 5 as AoE damage. Doesn't sound that great anymore. And it's not. It's really not. The mounts you should be focusing on, Firebreaker, are getting the White Tiger again for the global basic attack damage, and you want to be using the Magic Carpet. Why? Because it allows you to cast a 3rd clone, or whatever cast, basically, because once you cast everything, you cast 6 spells and it will give you energy for 1 random skill again. So you have a 20% chance to get the clone out of this one, as well as from the Raven. Then later on for PvP, you can either use the Blue Ox, or you can use a mount that's not released yet. which I personally think is the best for PvP. It's going to be a revive mount that once you would be taking fatal damage, you are immune for 3 seconds, and you will be receiving a heal for 10% of your max HP after those 3 seconds. So that should be the best in slot mount for most classes in PvP. But again, just an assumption. We don't have it yet. It's not tested. Yeah. Then for the wings, apologies. I'm using the tech one. It's not bad. It's not the best. Some people are saying the paper one is the best for PvP. Currently, that might be the case. It's definitely not going to be later on, because we're going to be receiving a back accessory that provides you damage resistance based on the damage the enemy does to you. This one is it. So it blocks 12% damage, or no, that's the upgraded version. Sorry, it blocks 8% damage when the final damage exceeds 1% of your max HP. Again, your glass cannon, especially good against people who have cash higher than you, because they're not able to use this, because you're not going to exceed 2 or 3% of their max HP with their hits, but with your hits, but they're going to exceed your max HP with their hits, which will give you up to 30% damage reduction or damage resistance. Should be global. Again, assumption, but should be global, because it says final damage. 5%. So yeah, this backcaster is something you should be aiming for if you want to play PvP with the archer in the meantime, until you actually go for warrior. So that covers this. As for talents, I go for stun. I will be going for stun later on. 15% stun. Again, stun is 0.5 seconds, will be increased by 30% stun duration by the fox, and it will increase your damage by 25%. Helps you both in PvE and PvP immensely, compared to what other people are going for. Every 2 seconds, combo damage increased by an extra 5%. Every 2 seconds, 5%. So let's say 5 seconds, it's basically when the fight starts. In PvP, so that's 25%. And by 10 seconds, most of the time my fights are over already. So I didn't even use the maximum amount that I could have possibly used here. While on the other one I could have used the 15% stun, maybe stunned the enemy 1 or 2 seconds. Yeah, I'm sorry for the advertisement in the background. Don't have YouTube Premium. So yeah, I'm gonna be going for stun. Currently I'm not, because I don't have enough points. You will need around 6,000 points to get there. I'm using basic attack damage again, because I want to have those values as close as possible to each other to gain the most damage out of it. So I have it basic attack damage on archer, and I have basic attack damage on sorcery on the left. I could have split it a bit better. I'm just a bit lazy to swap it, to reset it, and just put in a few more points here, because yeah, it's cheaper to upgrade the lower levels, of course. You know that by using them on base attack, base health, and base defense. So yeah, those are my talents. And the last thing should be the statues. Yes, I'm currently using this. As you can see, it's not optimized. I even have a statue right now. Trying to get this one to work on it, but yeah, not having had a lot of luck. Also, I've been using this one to get ready for warrior already, so yeah, I've been spending a lot, but on the wrong ones and not being lucky. But yeah, I'm using 3 combo, 1 crit, 1 attack. That's also what my calculator gave me. I can put in my values here, just so you can see it, how to use the calculator as well once I release it. So I want to take the statue out of my calculation, so I want to take the combo damage total 2250. I have 13%, so plus 100%. So I will be saying 2.5k would be my combo without the statue. Let's put it here, 2500. Then basic attack multiplier I can use as I have it here, because it's not affected by statues at all. So that would be 2400 basic attack. And my final attack, I need to take away the statue global as well. So instead of 148 million, couldn't just check it here. I could calculate it, but I think it's faster if I just change my statue to this one, because it doesn't have any attack. And then I can see final attack 128.7. Okay. Again, sorry. So, what's different about my statue calculator compared to other people? This is plain for PvE. That's why I have crit resistance 200. As I said in the beginning, that's what the Lamp Thief is providing. I do not have any defense in it, because PvE does not have any defense. I have no basic attack res, I have no combo attack res at all. So, also, what it includes is, it shows you if you, like one auto attack, as I explained before, is the passives that you have for the class. It's not just one auto attack, it's 4 basic attacks and 1 combo. Or if both basic attacks that are split from the first auto attack were able to combo, then it would be 6 basic attacks and 2 combos from 1 auto attack. Most likely though, just saying, disclaimer, it's only 1 combo. I don't think both of the attacks can combo, but as I wasn't sure, I checked it with both. I also checked it for the Plume Monarch, which changes the 1 combo, increasing the basic attacks to 5, so giving you 3 additional basic attacks, compared to Arrogant, who only gives you 2 basic attacks. Yeah, here you can see 2 combo, 2 crit, 1 final attack would be the best for me in most scenarios, at least if it's 2 combos. Otherwise it would be 3 times final attack and 2 times crit. But yeah, that's too crit heavy for me, especially in PvP. People have a lot of crit resistance, that's why I don't want to focus entirely on crit. Also want to have my values on the more or less equal size. So yeah, here 5 combos would be actually really weak in my, like, not really weak, it's just a lot weaker than, for example, 2 combo, 2 crit, 1 final attack. Also gets influenced because I do not have a pink soul for global attack. If I had a pink soul for global attack, the value, the increase that I gain from a global attack statue would decrease, because I already have global attack percentages, which I currently don't have a lot, because yeah, I only had like 1 mount. I have like 15%, 20% that I'm currently getting. So yeah, for me, this is currently the best I can have with 221, and that's also what I was going for. Yeah, just showing you here. I only have 1 mount that gives global attack. I only have 1 costume that gives global attack. So that's, and the artifact. So that's 21%. It's very low, very low. If you have the global attack rune soul, for example, so the pink soul, then you will have a lot higher percentages, and then the final attack, the global attack statue is going to be reduced by a lot. And just so you can see, I have no pink runes, I don't even have full red runes by now, and still Infinity 7. So yeah, that's those are my pointers, those are my information. Also, some people are questioning a lot in the Discord, should I go for more combo, should I go for more crit rate on the items, if they have an item that provides crit, and then they pull an item that provides combo, then there's diminishing returns, natural diminishing returns for crit rate and combo rate. That means if I go, like just an example, I do 100 hits, I have a 10% crit rate or 10% combo rate, it doesn't matter. Out of those 100 hits, statistically speaking, 10 of them will crit or 10 of them will combo. So if I increase my crit rate from 10 to 20%, it will be, instead of 10 hits critting, 20 crits. So my increase is double. So when I go from 20 to 30 though, there's I don't get double anymore, because if it would be double, then out of 20% to 30%, 40 would need to crit to double the effect. But as it's only 20 hits to 30 hits, it's an increase of 50%. Then so on, from 30 to 40, it's still always only 10% crit chance, but the diminishing return is in the amount of hits that will be critting. The gain from 10 to 20 is 100%, from 30 to 40 is 33% only. So yeah, keep that in mind. You want to have a high combo and you want to have a high crit rate, but going from 90% combo to 100% combo would be worth a lot less for me than going from 60 to 70% crit rate. So yeah, if you have any more questions, feel free to ask in the comments. If you need assistance with the statue calculator, go ahead. The statue calculator is just for my own liking so far. If you would like to see any additional feature in it, for example, crit chance or combo chance, because right now it's calculating with 100% each, which is not like the true thing, but it's close enough for me. If you would like to see that, then just write in the comments and I will try to add it to my best possibility. So yeah, I hope you liked it. I hope that gave you information that you needed and will provide you information to improve yourself.